Hello, welcome back, everybody. How are you all feeling? Everyone good? How many have we got on now? We've got 67 on. I'm going to look at one or two of you. Let me look. We got Merlin. Merlin's looking absolutely boss there. How you doing, my friend? Has he got his volume off? Has he got his volume on? Got Will Rolfe. Will Rolfe, how are you? Awesome. Trudy, Charlie, how are you? Gemma, I can't go through you all. Joe Brown. Joe Brown looks like he's just driven a truck all the way across Route 66 and stopped for his lunch on the way. You're looking brilliant, John, not Joe. Joe, how you doing? Lucy Bunce, hello, how are you? John Pritchard, I could do this all day. This is a great way of killing 15 minutes. Right, okay, I hope you had an amazing lunch. I hope you had something suitably ethical and low impact, not just low impact for the planet, but low impact for you as well. We had an amazing morning. I loved all of those conversations. I popped into some of the breakouts and they were awesome. And I wanted to talk about some reasons to be cheerful. Some of you will know that Reasons to be Cheerful is one of my side projects. So during the beginning of lockdown, well, actually 2 years ago, I spoke at the Good Life experience up in North Wales. And to speak there, I pulled together a series of talks and we called it Reasons to be Cheerful, just purely so I could use a little bit of Ian Drury on the introduction, which was brilliant. And then during lockdown, we started that as a publishing house and a blog space, and it's gone really well. And it's really nice sometimes to look at the positives. So I want to talk to you about the reasons that I think we have to be cheerful right now, some of which may include toilet paper. And but before that, I want to do a little bit of movement. How many of you have done something called Qigong or Tai Chi? Anyone? One or two? Colette has. Colette's done a petit peu. So we're going to do some movement, and I'm going to get you to stand up if that's all right. Just a little bit, just for 2 or 3 minutes. The dog's coming as well. Do you want to see my puppy? That's nowhere near as dark as it should sound, as it should be here. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know, you're gorgeous. So he might be a bit barky as I'm moving around. So if you could stand up, that'd be amazing. Those of you that haven't done any Qigong or Tai Chi, it's a 5,000-year-old system of meditation, breathing, and movement. And it's really gentle, like so gentle, it's untrue. And we normally start with the same move, okay, which is called knocking on the doors of life. So our feet face forwards, a little bit wider than hip width apart, not quite shoulder width apart. And we pull our belly in. It's all tight in the core. Pull your mother bandit up. And as you turn, you let your hands knock. You're not throwing your arms around, you're just letting them knock. And you're knocking across your back and across your midriff. And when we knock across the back, we're sort of knocking on our adrenal glands and our kidneys. And the thought in Taoism is that our kidneys are the things that keep us kind of energized and alive longest. They're for longevity, to get you through the day, but also to get you through the month, but also to get you through life. So we've sparked these up a little bit. It's just a nice little slap as well, isn't it? You can forget all the woo-woo stuff and just go with the fact it feels good. We raise our hand, and when we go up at the front, we're going to knock on our collarbone or just under our collarbone. And these are points for lung health. So in Taoism, these bring a little bit extra oxygen in, bring a little bit of inspiration. The lungs in Taoism are the things that pull in the inspiration. So good ideas are thought to come into the lungs rather than into the head. And then from here, we throw our hand over our shoulder and we knock on top of our shoulder with a little lope. And you don't have to go with any of the woo-woo stuff here. You could just go with the fact this feels sublime, right? Because we've all been a little bit shouldered up all morning, and this begins to free the blood flow in the shoulder. And the thought here, if you want to go to that, it's like this, Qigong's like that kind of like Lyra's alethiometer, right? There are different layers of it. And the next layer down here is we're freeing up the flow of blood to the head. And the head is the abode of our inner gods and our inner demons. So if we can get more blood there, we can help them make better decisions for us. Back down to the collarbone. Little look over your shoulder to twist your spine. And then back down to the midriff. So your spine should feel absolutely syrupy from a left to right movement. And then we open up our spine in a frontwards and backwards movement. And this is called spinal cord breathing. So we hold our arms up in cactus, strong person form, and then you lean back, but you're not compressing the lower spine, the lower back. You're actually opening up your chest. You lean back, you look up and you breathe in. And then you curl, right? So you pull your belly in and you curl. as if you're doing a standing sit-up. So you're using the mechanics of movement to increase the amount of breath moving in and out of the lungs. And this just feels great after sitting down all day. And then finish there, and we open up our spine in the last direction, which is left and right. So what I want you to do, I want you to think about, you know, when you used to go out, do you remember those days when you used to go out? Before you went out, you're in the kitchen and you put whatever your tune would be, right? For me, it was always like Rolls Royce Car Wash or a bit of Stone Roses or something. I want you to think about that tune that's in your head. Some of you, sadly, it will be ABBA, right? I'm not going to judge you. You can crack on with that. It's fine by me. I'm going to kick your right hip out to the right, and your head goes over that way as well. So you're stretching the lines of tension in the neck, and you kind of correct. Look, if I'm 53, right? But if I was younger, I'd have a C here. So you're stretching that side. Just get that tune in your head, and then go to the other side. Oh, that feels lush, doesn't it? And then I want you to go left and right. That tune starts playing now, right? So you've got that tune going on. So I've gone straight into Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. Can you tell? That's gone straight in there. So you're moving your hips left and right, opening up the spine, getting nice and flexible. And then bring that to a slow stop. And they're going to bring us down to being present. So place your hands just at your sides, palms down. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine your hands rising on your breath. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Rising on the breath. This is a beautiful moving meditation. And we're just going to change it slightly. We're going to now raise our left hand, keep our right hand down. We're moving to something called cloudy hands. So the right hand goes face down, left hand faces the chest. And we're going to turn to the left. And when you reach the end of where you can turn, you're going to swap your hands out and go the other way. And cloudy hands is a way of bringing a bit more passion or a little less passion to the heart. So if you've got a bit of burnout, a bit of exhaustion, you do a really slow one. If you want to get a little bit racy, a little bit pulsy, then you speed it up. And we'll do that now, right? So we're going to speed up left and right and feel the attention, put the kindness of your attention on your body and feel the air moving through your fingers. As you move left and right. And speed it up again, as if the clouds are scudding across the sky a bit quicker. But then the wind drops and you go nice and slow. And then you bring this to a slow, graceful, like you're dancing with your lover, a slow, graceful stop as you come back. Put your hands over your belly button, feet together, splay your toes, rise yourself up from the crown of your head. Feel present, keep one eye on your dog. And come back to me. Okay, so that's a really basic Qigong move, right? It's just that's how we warm up. It's half of how we warm up. And I do it every morning, not every morning. I do it 3 mornings a week on Instagram. If you want to join in, no charge. It's just something so just gets everything moving. So now I wanted to talk to you about reasons to be cheerful, not the side project. I want to talk to you about why I think we should be cheerful. Okay, and it would be really easy if you read the Daily Mail. If you read the Daily Mail, you're permanently looking for anger anyway, right? You're just looking to reinforce the anger that you've already got. Have a word with yourself. Why is it you want to be enraged? Why would you seek rage? But if we look around us, if we look at what's happening around us, it might feel like we've got climate catastrophe, we've got challenges with plastics, we've got all kinds of stuff going on that we're uncertain about. And there's this psychological impact of that. So let's look for the good people, good stuff that's happening. 50% of people now define themselves as purpose-driven buyers, right? This is all about consumption, this first. Of those 50%, 67% would choose a brand because of its position on a sustainability issue. If it was supporting something, they would choose that brand. The interesting thing, 65% would avoid a brand that didn't take a position on a sustainability issue. Rewind to my conversation this morning about the big company I was with yesterday. Oh, I don't know whether our customers are engaged. No, but your employees are, and we're not working for you unless you sort it out. This is really interesting. We're beginning to see people genuinely ask better questions. There are 3 ways of having better ideas, right? Number 1, you ask a better question. Number 2, you ask people who aren't like you. That's about diversity. Number 3, you meditate. Number 3, you shift into theta brainwave. I I don't mean or I don't mean that, but you can mean that. I mean, when we move into theta brainwave, when we remove the thoughts that we have whilst we're doing something. So when you're out on your bike or you've gone for a walk, or maybe even you're driving and you're driving through Truro and you think, I don't remember driving past the police station. I don't even know whether there is one in Truro. That's theta brainwave. When you're in the shower and you kind of forgotten what you're washing, right? That's theta brainwave. It's the bit just before you go to sleep. And you can get there with gentle meditation. And Thomas Edison used to do this when he was inventing the light bulb and clever stuff like that. He would push himself into theta brainwave. And the way he would do it, he would take a metal cup and he'd put that metal cup between his feet. And he would take a coin and he would put that coin between his knees. And he would write down whatever challenging question he got. He'd write that down on his agenda. And he would sit there and he would meditate. And as he meditated, he'd fall asleep. And as he fell asleep, his knees would open. And as his knees would open, the penny would drop. And that's where the phrase comes from. Into the metal cup, wake him up, and then he would write down whatever he was thinking about. So use theta brainwave, it really matters. And we're beginning to see some awakening in people here. Then we've got some really interesting focal points. When you look at the research that's been done from the academic institutions and from people like McKinsey, people are really interested, and they're really interested at a high level in about 6 things. Firstly, waste reduction, just the amount of waste that we produce. It's a totem for consumption, right? You bring it in the front of your house and you take it out the back and put it in the bin when you finish. So just have a look at how much you're consuming. Number 2, sustainable packaging and circularity, really big. Regenerative agriculture is not on here at the moment. Equal number 2, you've got reducing carbon footprint. And then lovely, down at number 4, next one down, you've got ethical working practices. Now this is interesting. This is beginning to kind of nudge. And this is about that quiet activism, finding little notes in your clothes about where things are made and how they're made. Really matters, right? Number 5 is human rights. And number 6 is biodiversity. And that is a massive, massive issue that we're not really focusing on. So those focal points people are beginning to think a bit more broadly than themselves. And number 6, grid intensity. So I use an app on my phone called Grid Carbon, and that tells me what the carbon intensity per kilowatt hour it is at the moment. And I use that because I do loads and loads of carbon footprint, and this is my job, right? 32 years doing it now. And when I first started doing this job, the grid intensity for a kilowatt hour, we were using around about 600 grams of carbon to get 1 kilowatt hour of energy out. Today, just before I came on here, so 10 minutes ago, we were using 269 grams. We've halved, we're better than halved the grid intensity. These are all things to absolutely celebrate. It's good, yet in America, 23% of all lorry miles are done to carry coal. And we've reduced our carbon footprint in the UK as a kind of like country because we've offshored manufacture to China. And I'm not knocking that. China is one of the most advanced manufacturing nations in the world, and they are moving to net zero faster than we are, interestingly. So it's a very tricky issue. A lot of people like local, I understand why, but there's some great advances elsewhere. The shadow impact of everything we import, massive. And then I think one of the biggest risks that we face in this world at the moment is that of friendly fire. Friendly fire because of kind of like single issue environmentalism. We need to think bigger and we need to think more collectively. Together we are stronger. And I really do think, just to finish off, because I'm bang on past, that this is the most exciting time to be alive. This is the time of the most change we're ever going to see. The petrochemical industry are finally investing as much in alternative energy as they are in digging out more oil. It's taken them years, right? And they've still got loads more to do. Car companies, GM, for example, is investing $200 million per year, or they did last year, in looking at social anthropology. Look, and that's all about car sharing. They know, look, they've got a long taper in their mind, right? So they make cars, everyone's not going to want petrol cars for long, but we can share our petrol cars and we halve the impact. So they're all over that. Gen Z, they really want to work for good companies doing good work. Bad companies, this is one of my big findings, is I work for some companies you wouldn't say were good. They've got amazingly good people in them that are trying to change it from the inside. And that's a massive challenge, and it can feel uncomfortable, but that's happening all the time. The most exciting reason to be cheerful, in my humble opinion, is that creativity, imagining a world that hasn't arrived yet, is the single most powerful environmental tool that there is. Your job is not to move pencil or pixel. Your job is to move hearts and minds. And it really is as simple as that. Right, I've gone over by 2 minutes, but I think we did start 2 minutes late. So I'm going to forgive myself